Hello party people, this is my 40-week pregnancy update. What? Did you think I was gonna make it this far? Because I certainly did not. Well, okay, so 3 babies I've already had. This is our 4th, and typically I go to 42 weeks. My earliest baby was like 41 weeks, 5 days. And after everything that went on with this pregnancy, with my subchoronic hematoma, my blood clot, and the threatened miscarriage, and the threat of preterm labor, and like all of this stuff, I will happily carry this baby to 42 weeks should that be an option for me, you know? I shared on my Instagram last week after I had my 39-week appointment. Today I had my 40-week appointment, so there's a lot to update on that as well if you follow me on Instagram, and I'll share most of it with you here. I also had a dental appointment today. Is anyone interested in that? No? No, I'm cavity free. Are you proud of me? Only floss the teeth you want to keep, okay? That's what my dad always said. So my 40-week appointment, well, let's back up and talk about my 39-week appointment. Let me also add that at the end of this, I will be going through some old wives' tales, gender predictions with you, because we don't know the gender of our baby. And we will be surprised when I go into labor, hopefully soon, right? So I've been having some crazy dreams about gender predictions, and I'll go through that, and then I'll also scroll through the crazy old wives' tales. But let's start at my 39-week appointment. I went in, I meet an OB for the first time, because there's so many OBs and midwives in my practice. Okay, so I took this appointment. I walk in, and I don't even know, just bad vibes, okay? Just got bad vibes from this woman. We just weren't meshing. And I feel like there's always that one OB or whoever in a practice, doctor in a practice, where you just don't vibe with them, and your views and their views just don't match up, you know what I mean? They're just on different paths. So I'm not sure how familiar she was with my case. She came into the room talking as if she knew about my case, but it was clear that she didn't by the things that she was saying, because she was, like, for instance, she said, I know you've had some bleeding during your pregnancy, like a few times. And I was like, well, I've never bled vaginally. So I don't know where she was making that up from. And then she said a couple other things. And then also when she went to measure my fundal height, she like mentioned my stretch marks, which no one had. Like, does that even happen? Like, do your OBs or midwives even acknowledge the fact that you have, like, okay, this is my 4th baby. I don't think anyone has ever said anything about my stretch marks until this woman, and then that just added to, like, you know, girl eating crackers moment. And what she said was, ooh, those look like they itch. And I was like, yeah, they're all old. They're all from my first pregnancy, so they're fine. Anyway, I digress. Stretch marks have no bearing on anything that's happening in my life. She starts out the appointment, right away talks about my subchoronic hematoma, my blood clot, and she's somehow so concerned about my placenta abrupting. And she's like trying to persuade me to get an induction at 39 weeks. And I was like, well, I typically go a little later, so I don't know if I'm comfortable with that right now. Like, you know, I don't even know if my body's ready. And she was, and I was asking her questions like, okay, what are the benefits of me going in for an induction this early rather than going into labor spontaneously and then coming in right away? Because I know, you know, I know that the blood clot is an issue, can cause issues during labor, most likely will not, but on a rare occasion, it can. I think that's with every pregnancy. Anything can happen, but it's a rare thing. Do you know what I mean? It's just, anyway, so her reasoning behind me wanting to be induced is so she can monitor the baby throughout the entire process. That's fine. But also I have been told by midwives and OBs previously, because I've been asking since I was 26 weeks, like, hey, would this issue be cause for an induction? And everyone else I've spoken to has said, nope. Not to this woman. This woman was like, basically she said the only reason that she wants to induce me is because of fetal death. She said those words without explaining, hey, your placenta could abrupt, which could lead to fetal death. Or, hey, once you reach a certain mark, stillbirths are more common. Or literally she could have said anything else, but that is what she chose to. So I'm not cool with the scare tactic, first of all. And then she immediately followed that by saying, well, I don't mean to scare you. Huh? Okay, then don't. Like, don't we all know as moms who are pregnant that like, that's always in the back of our mind. That, especially women who are high risk or have had a complication. But aside from my blood clot, I have had no other issues during my pregnancy. And my midwives have told me that I could do intermittent monitoring throughout my labor and delivery and that everything should go fine as normal. That combined with the fact that my last ultrasound was at 34 weeks, so we don't even know if this blood clot is still hanging out. We don't know how my placenta's doing because last we checked, everything was hunky-dory. She didn't do a non-stress test. She didn't do anything other than push me into scheduling an induction. I left the room. She knew I wasn't into it and she said, you know what? I'm gonna get the ball rolling on the induction. They'll call you for an appointment. You can go home and think about it. And I left the room and I was like, but I don't wanna do it. So they called me, I think that night, to schedule an induction for, what was it, Monday night or Sunday night at 10 p.m. 10 p.m.? No, thank you. First of all, that's past my bedtime, okay? Second of all, I'm assuming they're scheduling it at night because they would have given me Cervidil or Cerva, the cream that they put in you to soften your cervix. But they don't even know if I need it. I have never been checked to see if my cervix is softening or if I'm dilated or if I'm favorable for an induction. Like, none of that was happening. And I just feel like this woman was like, came into the room, told me you need to get induced, and left. Peace out, sayonara. Short story long, I did not get an induction at 39 weeks, 2 days. So I went today for my 40-week checkup, knowing that this was going to be topic of conversation. So at my 40-week appointment today, I spoke to 2 midwives. And the first one was like, I think you made the right decision for you, being very like, you know. And then the second midwife was kind of like, well, the OB is kind of my superior, so I have to take her word. Induction isn't a bad idea, especially if you're past 41 weeks, if you are up to it. And this midwife was like so understanding, and he explained things the way that the OB like didn't even touch on, and answered all of my questions and was very persistent on asking, do you have any more questions, any more concerns, like anything else I can tell you to ease your mind or help you. So here is our plan of attack. At 41 weeks, I will go in. They have scheduled an ultrasound for me at 41 weeks to check on, it's like a, oh, I forgot what they call it. It's like a routine 41-week ultrasound. They check on fluid levels, they check on baby, they check on 2 other things. I don't remember what they are, but they check on the things that are supposed to be okay. Movement. And then we're gonna do a non-stress test. Oh, and then in the ultrasound, obviously, they're going to check on the subchoronic hematoma as well, if it's still there. Seeing if it's causing any issues, which it's probably not at this point, because if it was, really the only issue that it causes preterm labor, and that hasn't happened yet. I mean, I know there's a risk that I could like grow and move toward my placenta, but that hasn't happened, and I don't think it's going to. And Pitocin contractions, if I were to be induced, are much more intense than like regular contractions. So I feel like, if anything, me being induced is more likely to lead to more interventions and more risks. I just, and I've been induced before, so I'm not like completely against it. I've had a wonderful induction. It was Eleanor's birth, and I shared that on YouTube. If you want to see that, it was wonderful, beautiful. I was induced, but otherwise, all natural. Everything went lovely. Moving on. Where was I? Okay, non-stress test is the other test that they're going to run. And then today, my midwife offered to strip my membranes, and he asked if I had this done before, and I said, No, I've never had it done before. I know what it is. I'm familiar with it, but I've just never had it done before, to my knowledge. I didn't get checked today. That's just not part of their protocol. So I said, okay, how about, because he was thinking, well, let's induce at 41 weeks. So, you know, it's kind of like the middle ground. And I said, how about this? Let's do all of the, you know, ultrasounds and tests at my 41 week mark and sweep my membranes, and maybe that'll get things going. Maybe in a week's time, it'll get my body to do a little more. Maybe I'll be more favorable for a membrane sweep, because it's like a natural way to induce labor, but it's not 100% effective. I think I was reading on Google, and Dr. Goog told me that a membrane sweep works like 60% of the time, which is, to be quite honest, a big success rate, right? So I'm gonna have that done all at my 41 week appointment, and then hopefully things go over the weekend, maybe, I don't know, because if you get a membrane sweep, let me know if you've had one below and if it was effective for you. But typically they say within 48 hours, you like, labor strikes up. If your like cervix is favorable, I don't know, guys. Anyway, so that's going to happen, and I said it, and then I would be comfortable scheduling an induction maybe that Monday or Tuesday. And he was okay with that. He was like comfortable with that. So, you know, I mean, obviously you can't go past 42 weeks. That's when like all the statistics, I think by law, you have to be induced at 42 weeks, at least in the US anyway. We know that my body can go into labor spontaneously. I'm just hoping it goes a little earlier than usual. I don't have an official scheduled induction date yet, but it's looking like around the 18th of November. So there's that. Short story long for you. I need a snack after that. Okay, I'm gonna look up some old wives' tales on my phone, and while I do, I'm gonna share with you some of the dreams that I've been having. I actually had one last night. A lot of you have been asking me like what my mom intuition is telling me about the gender. I think it's a girl. But that doesn't say anything, because I thought for sure Wentworth was a girl, he was a boy. I thought for sure Eleanor was a boy, she was a girl. We found out with Avelina, so there's that. And I don't have the best mom intuition, I guess. So my dream last night was that it was Christmas and my family was doing our white elephant gift exchange, which we do every year. And so it was my turn to pick a gift off the table, and there was one that was like itty bitty and it looked like chocolate, so you guys know that's the one I went for. So I pick it up in my dream and I'm opening it, and it's like unfolding. It's not a piece of chocolate, to my demise, and it's like a Mylar balloon, and it's blue, so you can guess what it says. It says it's a boy. And so if that tells you anything, it should tell you, it should just validate that I'm having a girl. Right? I'm also seeing signs everywhere that I'm like having a boy, but I really think I'm having a girl. And I had another dream around like the 23 week mark, where I was really worried about preterm labor. I had a dream that I had the baby, and for some reason I was with like my mom's side of the family who don't even live in Florida, and I was in the passenger seat and the baby was still attached to my umbilical cord, but I had given birth, like holding conversations with people in the car. No one seemed to be fazed by the fact that my baby was just sitting in like a bucket that they would normally put like a placenta in or something, like just like a hospital bucket. And I bent down, the baby's obviously covered in like, you know, blood because it was just born. I watched too much true crime, okay? And so in my dream, I'm thinking, oh, I need to check on the baby. I need to hold what? So I had that dream. So for a while I thought, well, I'm gonna have my baby in the car. Clearly that's what that means. And I think I had a dream with Wentworth going off like gender predictions. Because we didn't know with him, and I thought it was a girl. The dream was I was getting ready in the bathroom with one of my sisters, and she like somehow stabbed me with like a makeup brush on accident, but it like cut into my stomach, uterus, and I was like bleeding again, too much true crime. And she said, well, since it's open, let me check on the gender. So she's like digging around in there and she goes, it's a girl. And I had a boy, so. Anyways, anyone else have like weird dreams? I'm not like a big dreamer, but when I do have dreams, they're like, what? Okay, 20 old wives' tales to predict gender. Carrying high or low. So the gender prediction is if you're carrying high, you're having a girl. If you're carrying low, you're having a boy. I've been low for a while, so I would say boy, but also I've been low because I'm in my 3rd trimester, so I don't know. I typically don't super drop until I'm like in labor, but the midwife today, when she was checking, she was like, your baby's really low, so I don't know. But I think typically I carry pretty even keeled, so can we even count that, boy, girl? I don't know. Shape of your bump. If you're carrying all of your extra baby weight out front and it looks like a basketball, it's a boy. If you're carrying your pregnancy weight all over, it's a girl. This one is tricky. I have gained 40 pounds, so I know I have gained weight all over. However, I'm a small framed girl as it is, so when people see me, they're like, oh my gosh, all your weight, it's just a big basketball, which it kind of is, but I feel like I've carried the same, rather I've had boys or girls, I always look the same. So basketball means boy. Moody versus mellow. If you're feeling a little more moody than you usually are, you might be having a girl because of all the extra female hormones. If you're more relaxed and mellow, you're expecting a boy. This one's hard because my peak energy level, I'm just always scatterbrained crazy, right? So am I more moody? I would say I'm more emotional. So that would be girl. I'm definitely not more relaxed. That's just never gonna happen. Are you craving sweet or salty? Okay, apparently if you're craving sweet things like fruit, chocolate, and desserts, you're having a girl. If you're craving salty, pretzels, french fries, and chips, or even protein-rich foods, might be a boy. I think I'm craving more salty, but I always crave more salty, and I've had 2 girls, so how much can we trust these crazy old wives? You know what I mean? So this one is boy. Morning sickness. Oh, God. Okay, legend predicts that if you have been suffering from excessive nausea and morning sickness during your pregnancy, you're having a girl. If you didn't throw up much during your pregnancy, you're having a boy. For me, again, makes no sense because with my girls, I hardly threw up. With my boy, I had hyperemesis gravitorium, the worst. Up until I was 17, 18 weeks pregnant, threw up more times than I have in my lifetime times a million, okay? This pregnancy, pretty much the same. I didn't throw up as much as I did with Wentworth, but I threw up a heck of a ton. So according to the old wives, I'm having a girl because my morning sickness was terrible. But my morning sickness was terrible with Wentworth, so poop on these old wives. Pregnancy glow. If people around you are commenting on how you are glowing and your complexion is bright and clear as ever, you might be having a boy. If you're breaking out and you have pizza face, you're carrying a girl. Apparently girls take all the mother's beauty, right? Isn't that what they say? So this one's another hard one. People say, oh, you're glowing, but what they don't know is it's just makeup and some highlighter. Oh man, I don't know. I also think it's an age thing where like I'm just not breaking out as much as I used to. Although when I don't wash my face, I do break out. That has nothing to do with gender. So, okay, am I glowing? We're just gonna say yes, boy. Ooh, the linea nigra. It's like that dark hairline on your stomach right in the middle there. I've never had that. And I've had a boy and girl, so what does it say? Okay, rumor has it that if that line continues above your belly button, not just below, you're having a boy. If it stops at your belly button, you're having a girl. So I don't have it, so girl. The feel of your skin, this is what I haven't heard before. Supposedly if your skin is drying out more than usual, you have dry hands, you can expect to have a boy. If your skin is silky smooth, you're having a girl. I wish I had silky smooth skin. Listen, my hands dry out, but I also wash dishes about 17 times a day and clean without gloves. So is that a gender thing? Cold feet. I wish anything on my body was cold. Are your feet feeling cold now that you're pregnant? If so, you might be expecting a boy. If your feet are warm as ever, you might be carrying a girl. I'm gonna shoot up girl on this one. However, during the first half of my pregnancy, when I'm like basically on my deathbed, I'm cold. Mostly because I have no nutrition in my body to give me warmth. The eye test. Go to a mirror and look into it for about a minute long. Who has time for this? If you notice your pupils dilating, it means you're having a boy. What? How does that make any sense? Let's do it here. You want me to sit here for a minute and stare at you? How uncomfortable would that be for real? My eyes aren't gonna dilate just by sitting here. Ooh, how does my hair look? Some pregnant women have the most beautiful hair. Hi. My hair is literally stuck to my neck from sweating. Gross. People have been commenting on my hair. Guys, I literally don't do anything to my hair. It's just long and it's growing, so I think people associate beautiful hair with length, and that's just not good. My hair always looks like this when it's long. It's not great. Okay, some pregnant women have the most beautiful hair. A lot of people attribute it to taking prenatal vitamins, but apparently there's an old wives' tale that can predict the gender of the baby according to your hair. If your hair becomes thick, full, and glossy, and you look like you stepped out of the Pantene Pro V commercial, you're carrying a boy. If your hair is dull, limp, and hasn't gotten any thicker, it's a girl. Did I say girl for both of those? So Pantene Pro V commercial, boy, dull and lifeless girl. Great. Okay, for me, if I don't have any dry shampoo in my hair, I would say it's dull and lifeless. I also haven't had a haircut in like 3 years, almost. My ends are pretty split. But a lot of people haven't commented on my hair, so I guess boy. Oh, the ring test, yes. Oh God, I keep tapping on ads. Ugh, blogs. Out of all the old wives' tales to predict gender, this one is the most fun in my opinion. To perform the ring test, you will need a strand of your own hair and a ring that you regularly wear. Whoops, took mine off. Like your wedding ring. Tie your hair around your ring and lie down. Have someone dangle the ring over your baby bump and hold still. If the ring starts to move in circles, it's a girl. If it swings side to side or up and down, you're having a boy. We did this at Alex's grandparents' house, and his grandfather was holding it and went in a circle. And then I held it and it went in a line. And then we had someone else hold it and it was inconclusive. I don't think he held it still long enough. Or he had really steady hands and it wasn't moving. But I don't think he gave it a chance for gravity to kick in. Anyway, so whose test do we believe? Granddad's or mine? I don't know. It also wasn't on my hair, and it also wasn't my wedding ring because I took it off weeks ago because my hands were swollen and I just haven't put it back on. So there's that. The garlic test. This test could get kind of stinky. If you're able to eat a lot of garlic but not smell like it, apparently that means you're carrying a girl. If you eat garlic and the odor seeps out of your pores, then you're having a boy. What? How much garlic are you eating that it's seeping out of your pores? I do like myself some garlic. I do eat plenty of it. No one has complained that I smell of it, so girl. Ooh, clumsiness. Some people are clumsier than others, but if you find yourself clumsier than usual during pregnancy, it's a boy. If you remain grounded and still in control of your body, it's a girl. I would say I'm pretty grounded, but I attribute that to yoga. Come on. So girl. One boob bigger than the other. Really? This is an old wives' tale? It's common to have one breast bigger than the other during pregnancy. It's also common for your breast to get bigger, and if you notice your right breast is bigger than your left, you might be having a boy. If your left is larger, you might be having a daughter. Weird. I guess I'm having a boy. But I also attribute that to like breastfeeding, so I don't know. Okay, baby's heart rate. Apparently baby girls have faster heart rates than baby boys, so at your next ultrasound, pay extra attention to your baby's heart rate. If the heart rate beats faster than 140 beats per minute, it's a girl. If it's lower, then it's a boy. I also don't believe this one either. That looks good. Still looks good. This baby has always been, like today, it was right at 140. So what does that mean? Gender neutral. But I think typically it's always been above. So what is that, a girl? There you go. Your blood pressure. A study found that the higher a pregnant woman's blood pressure is 26 weeks before she conceived, the more likely she is to have a boy. So if you had a doctor's appointment before you started trying to get pregnant, look back and see where your blood pressure was. It could be the very scientific cue to whether you're having a little girl or boy. I say poop on this one as well because my blood pressure is always low. Like today my blood pressure was 110/60. Healthy range, it's on the lower side of things just because I'm athletic before I got pregnant, but I'm still in like decent shape, you know? Okay, so inconclusive. Oh wait, no, that means girl. Okay, because it was low. Partner's weight gain. Oh, if your partner is gaining weight alongside you, also known as sympathy weight, that could be a sign that you're carrying a girl. And if his weight stays the same, it's a boy. Guess what? My husband always gains weight when I'm pregnant. And we have both girl and boy. But this one says girl. He has gained weight. Gender prediction chart. I've done this one before. And let me see. It says in parentheses, this chart does not guarantee baby's gender. Really? Okay, lunar age and then month of conception. So my lunar age, I was 31, I'm 32 now, and conceived in February. So that means boy. Alex will be happy to hear that because I know a lot of people just base it off the Chinese chart there. So I guess those are all the gender predictions. If you have more, put them below. You tell me if your old wives' tale gender predictions were correct. I just feel like it's a bunch of farce to keep your mind busy while you're twiddling your thumbs waiting to find out the gender, because back in the day, they didn't have ultrasounds to figure out whether you were having a boy and a girl, so they just had to base it on a bunch of voodoo, right? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching and following my update and my journey. 40 weeks, holy crap. So next time I talk to you, I probably won't be sharing an update. I will be sharing a look at my baby. So that's pretty exciting. So if you want, follow me on Instagram. I will be sharing there when I'm going into labor. I'm not gonna throw up on YouTube like, hey, I'm in labor video. It's just not necessary. So you'll find out eventually if I have my baby here. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will see you next time. Bye.